Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into this video. In the last lecture we have seen magnetoresistance and one type of it, that is anisotropic magnetoresistance. And in this lecture we will see giant magnetoresistance in detail, and then types of GMR, uh, then applications. So before proceeding further, I would request you to subscribe my channel if you haven't already. So let's start. So giant magnetoresistance, in short, we can call it as GMR, and this is a quantum mechanical magnetoresistance effect which is observed in multi-layers, composed of ferromagnetic and non-ferromagnetic conductive layers, as shown in the diagram here. We have uh, ferromagnetic layers are there, and in between them non-magnetic conductive layer is there. So here GMR is discovered independently by two group of scientists, that is Albert Ferd and co. And also this is at the University of Paris, whereas Peter Grunberg and co. has discovered in Zurich, Germany. So here previously we have seen magnetoresistance effect, but when GMR was discovered, then only its applications were understood. It was more applicable. That is, after discovery of GMR, magnetoresistance effect was uh, more applicable. And for this discovery, no, the Nobel Prize is awarded to Albert Ferd and Peter Grunberg in 2007 for the discovery of GMR. So discovery of GMR, it led to the development of a new science, that is spintronics. So here spintronics is nothing but it is a study of intrinsic spin of the electron and its associated magnetic moment. Generally we studied the phenomena of charge of the electron, but here the spin of the electron is contributing for various applications. So it led to the new field of science, that is spintronics. Now here GMR is due to spin-dependent quantum mechanical scattering of conduction electrons. That is, so mainly this, it is depending on the mainly this thing, uh, that is scattering of the conduction electrons. So and the scattering of these electrons, it is spin dependent. So when we change the based on the spin, it is uh, that is up spin and we have down spin. So based on that, scattering of electrons is taking place, and that is leading to the magnetoresistance effect. Now here spin is getting scattered from the interface between single domain ferromagnet and non magnetic ultra thin layer, depending on the relative orientation of electron spin and magnetic moment of spin. So here the electron spin and also the magnetic moment, uh, that is we are applying the external field. So these are contributing to the scattering of the electrons. Now GMR effect has now become a backbone of storage devices. So nowadays lot, almost all storage devices are using GMR effect. And there are different types of GMR that is developed based on the current flowing and structure. So by varying the structure, uh, there are different types of GMR that are developed. So now here change in the electrical resistance could be 10 to 20%, whereas in the case of anisotropic magnetoresistance, it was only up to 2%, or maximum in very rare cases it may go up to 5%. But in order to be applicable, uh, here in this GMR, this we have 10 to 20%. So initially GMR effect was observed in a trilayer consisting of two ferromagnetic layers and an antiferromagnetic layer sandwiched between them. So here we have two layers, these are ferromagnetic, and the material is iron, Fe. And in between it is sandwiched between antiferromagnetic layer, which is chromium. So the resistance depends on the alignment of spins in the two ferromagnetic layers. That is, in the is you know there is one ferromagnetic layer up and the other one is down. So the resistance depends on the alignment of spins in these two layers. So when the applied magnetic field is zero, that is when the magnetic field is not applied, then the magnetization in two ferromagnetic layers is antiparallel. That is, here we are not applying any magnetic field to this multilayer. That is, H is zero. So in the upper ferromagnetic layer, the alignment of spin is in this direction, and here in this down one, the magnetization in the opposite to the upper layer. So here the resistance observed in this case is RAP, that is anti-parallel case. Now in the next case, when sufficient magnetic field is applied. So here sufficient means it is uh, a particular value, that is, so we have to apply sufficient magnetic field, then the magnetization in both ferromagnetic layers become parallel. So here when we apply sufficient magnetic field in the two layers in the same direction. Now if we reverse the magnetic field, whatever the external field we are applying, if we reverse the direction, then the alignment also will change, but in the two ferromagnetic layers it is parallel. So in this case we are getting uh, that is, for both A and B we get the same value of resistance. It depends on the magnitude of H. Though the direction of H is reversed, it depends on the magnitude. So here the resistance observed in this case is Rp. So here magnetic field sufficient, that is H sufficient, and this is in the opposite direction. So for this we get Rp, and when the magnetic field is 0, we get RAP. This is resistance R and H. So when the H is 0, anti-parallel case, the resistance is more, and when we apply sufficient magnet field, then it will become RP and the parallel case, and in between it is neither parallel nor anti-parallel in between. So as we increase the magnetic field, it will tend to align in parallel, that is from anti-parallel to parallel it will align. Now the resistance of the trilayer is found to be larger when the alignment of the magnetization is anti-parallel, and smaller when the alignment of magnetization is parallel, that is RAP will be greater than RP. So here resistance changed based on the relative angle between the current direction and that is the conducting layer's magnetization. So this is because of electron orbit coupling. Now when magnetization is parallel, what will be the case? So here we have seen that it is spin dependent uh, scattering of conducting electrons. So because of that, the electrons will experience resistance. So here when the magnetization is parallel, upspin electrons will experience small resistance, whereas downspin electrons experience large resistance. So here it is connected like this, and so upspin will have small and downspin will have large. So as two are up, that is upspin are in the same path, Rp is smaller. That is, here we have two resistance which are in the smaller. So this will show up. So as this path is small resistance, so overall resistance is smaller. Now the total resistance Rp is equal to, we know that, right, from the networks we can find that these two are connected in parallel. So 2R up into 2R down by 2R up plus 2R down. This will give this resistance, and then so this would be getting, we would be getting smaller. And when magnetization is antiparallel, both electron spins experience small resistance in one layer and large resistance in another layer. So, so both spin electrons, that is upspin and downspin, they can experience large resistance in one layer and small resistance in another layer. So here we have like this arrangement. So here the upspin or downspin, anyone can be smaller or larger. So in the two paths we have one larger resistance. So the overall resistance will be that's what in the two paths either R up or R down is larger, hence RAP is larger. So RAP also calculated in the same way we get like this. So if you take values and compare, RAP will be greater than RP. Now here del R is nothing but RAP minus RP, which is half into R up plus R down minus 2R up into R down R up plus R down, and calculating further we would get delta R is this much. So here delta R is RAP minus RP and delta R by RP. So this is delta R and RP we have calculated already here. So when we divide this and calculating further, we would get like this. So this delta R by RP is nothing but GMR. So any magnetoresistance is calculated like this. That is del R by RP. So here GMR is del R by RP, and this will give the change, how much change we are getting. So in case of this GMR, it will be like this will, if we multiply this, that is del R by RP into 100, then it will be like 10 to 20%. Now, so based on the Mott model, electrical conductivity of ferromagnetic materials can be described in terms of two channels, that is spin up electrons and spin down electrons, like as we have seen now previously, that how scattering of spin up electrons and spin down electrons contributing to resistance. So in ferromagnetic materials, the scattering rate of spin up electrons and spin down electrons is different. So we are getting different resistances for spin up and spin down electrons. So this is how we are getting GMR effect. And here we can see magnetization versus magnetic field. So when magnetic field is zero, the magnetization is also zero, and magnetization increases and it becomes saturated at this point. So at this point the magnetization is anti-parallel, and when the saturation occurs, then the magnetization is parallel. So here saturation value is nothing but we have discussed that the sufficient magnetic field we have to apply for getting parallel alignment. That sufficient magnetic field is nothing but saturated value. Now here we have seen the GMR values for three different cases. That is, we are using ferromagnetic layers Fe, and in between we are using chromium. So in the first case, we have seen that Fe is taken with 3 nanometer and chromium with 1.8. And in the second case, we kept the same Fe as it is 3 nanometer, but chromium 1.2 nanometer. And in the third case, also we put Fe with 3 nanometer, but chromium with zero point 0.9 nanometer. So what we are able to see here, when we use 1.8 nanometer, that is first case, the change in resistance was small. But as we decrease the thickness of chromium, the change in resistance is increasing, and for zero point 0.9 nanometer it was almost 80%. So this much high value we are able to achieve with as we decrease the uh, thickness of antiferromagnetic layer. So as the thickness of antiferromagnetic layer reduces, the change in resistance is more. That is GMR effect is more. So with this, I would like to end this lecture, and in the next lecture, we will see types of GMR and also the applications of GMR. Uh, Thank you for watching this video, and please do like and share this video. See you in the next.